Okay, now we will retrieve the player data from the database for our player. So we're going to use a synchronous function. So we need a keyword async in our function name, and we need the package sql.data.mysql client. Now, first thing we need is a query. So query is equals to formatted select all from accounts where player name is equals to a placeholder, and we will limit this to 1. Now we have our query prepared. We need to make an object of the class MySQL command. So using MySQL command is equals to new, and the parameters for the class MySQL command is query, and the second one is the connection, which is stored inside my class mysql.con. Now that we have created the object, we need to replace the placeholder that we created over here. So let's replace it. So command the parameters the add with value. The first parameter for this function is the name of the placeholder. My case, it's at the rate player name, and the second parameter needs to be with what a variable you need to replace it with. So for me right now, it's player name. We have exchanged this using parameters that add with value, so that the SQL query that we have does not get injected, so that no one can use some sort of a injected name, corrupted name, and then mess up your database. So now after we have replaced the parameter, we are going to make a reader object. So var reader is equals to new, await command dot execute reader async. Now we have made the reader. What we're going to do is just fetch the value using this reader, which we have used to execute the query over here. So what are the things that you need? Just check your database. In my case, it's SQLid first, so let's go with that. And we will store it inside a data. So we will create a data object player.data temp is equals to player dot core dot, it's not in core, it's in data dot get data from client. What this function does is it takes the client data type, and it returns the custom class that we created, the data class, where we have all these variables. So we got the object. Now what we will do is we will read the reader. So if reader the read async, and this is a function, and obviously since this is an async function, we need a wait. If we do get a row from this query, then we will store all the data from the query from the cache to our variables inside the object of temp. So first thing we need, temp dot sqlid is equals to convert dot int32, and inside we will use the reader object and sqlid. There we go. That is how you load data from the database. So I will just pause and write all the data that I need. Now, as you can see, I have retrieved all of the values from the reader object and converted it to string or to int32, and I assigned it in my object variable, which was stored in our client player, and I stored all of it. Now we have SQL ID, password, name, cache, level, age, health. Now we need to fetch the position as well so that we know where to spawn the player, which is in my case, the column name is position X, pause, Y, pause, Z. So let's begin. What we will do is we will create a vector3 object. So we'll write pause is equals to new vector3, and in pause.x is equals to reader pause x, and we will explicitly convert this to a float. And the rest as well, y, z, y, z. Now we have the position, but we need to store it inside our object, in our temp object, which we will store in our client. But this is a vector object. Pos is a vector3 object. So let me assign it. Temp dot position is equals to pos. That's it. Now what we'll do is we will use temp dot is logged in and make it true. And this is an object. It automatically gets called by reference, so we don't have to do this, but I still like to do this just in case something happens. So player, where's player, the has data, the name of the key string, which is in player dot data dot data identifier. If the player has this, then we will just reset it. So player dot reset data and the key name. So I'll just copy the key name, paste, and then I'll store player dot set data, the key name again, and I will set the data temp inside it. There we go. That is all you need. Oh, I forgot to actually spawn the player. So player dot okay, it's not in spawn. NAPI dot player dot spawn player and the position. You can see the attribute that it needs is the first one, which player. So in my case is the player that I passed in the function. The second is the position. The position which we just got this from the reader, we will use that one only because it's the same value. And there we go. That is how you retrieve values from the database to your server-side script and then spawn the player. Now it's not over yet. Once this is done, what we need to do is we need to remove the CEF that we created for the login page. So the function name for it is, where is it, login? The function name is show login CEF. The function will be called show login, and we will pass false. If we pass false, the login CEF will get disabled, the cursor will become invisible, and the chat will become like it will show. So what we'll do is NAPI dot client event dot trigger client event, and the event, first of all the player, and the event name would be show, no, what was it? Show login CEF. Show login CEF, and the parameter that we're going to pass is false. That's all you need. So, and just like this, we will make a registration one as well.